not terrible. It's like from someplace you can't describe. It's like that's Red Cliff. This is the cliffs of where tempest happened.
Say that again?
These are the cliffs where the tempest happened. Oh yeah, and it's bobbing up and down everything.
You camera? Yeah? Okay. Wave.
Andrew stands on the boat. Look at him. He's at home on the waves. I hope nobody at home sees this tape.
$500. 10 orchards.
You see it though? Just like zoom in.
The funny thing.
I'm only making a 5-minute movie.
I know.
And I gotta have my buddies in it.
We're gonna make 500. We're gonna get $500 to do it.
I don't need $500. I want $50.
Hey.
$50 will pass the hat.
What?
Orchard 4! What? When I was 15, I made these like 5-minute horror films, slasher films. Made 3 of them. In 1985, I shut down production. Now I'm gonna do Orchard 4. Go do the film.
Red psychology.
I hope they got the tags. After, well, together,
His tag, got his fish. Very happy. Eating fish from. Here we go.
Just jump.
Anyone else feel like you're with Bronco? Seen back. 8 times now. Up there.
Thanks to Captain Dorothy Johnson and all of the people, especially Eric. Big round of applause, please. And the reason we have Festival Appreciation Day is because we're here to appreciate all of you who have donated so much of your time and dedicated so much of your energy into making the festival a fabulous thing here. But really, thank you all so much. I know we'll get into it a little later to barbecue, but for all of you here now, I just want you to really feel proud of what you've created this summer. It's been an incredible Shakespeare by the Sea year, and this has been a great way to end it off. The whales really capped off more than I could ever have predicted for today for us all. So that was pretty incredible. And from the bottom of my heart, personally, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for everything you've done for the festival over the last few months. So thanks, and we'll continue on at the barbecue once we get it settled.
Up the ladder I did go. That's no joke. That's no joke. Up the ladder I did go. That's no joke. Up the ladder I did go.
I see you! Lord. Who do you think you are? You're Evelyn. That's right, boy. Evelyn. What do you think
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last huzzah of the Shakespeare by the Sea Festival for 2001. To begin, I'd like to just say a big, warm thank you to everybody who showed up. I can't see you because the spotlight is very bright. But in the meantime, I'd also like to thank those who are downstairs who are helping us out tonight, those who are up in the balcony, those who are backstage, those who are everywhere in any sort of shape or form that helped us get this thing off the ground. Thank you very much. Now, before anything else, I'd like to do a little dance. But they wouldn't let me. So, I was going to tell you instead about all the important things about the theater tonight. I am your usher for this evening, Moses Tucker, and this is a trash can. On your way out, please use it. There is one over by the door, or it will be. And on your way out, if you have anything that you don't want anymore, don't leave your programs under the chairs. Don't leave your cups, if you have them, under your chairs or anywhere else on people's heads, on their chairs, and then they sit in them. Anything like that, please put them in the garbage cans on your way out. Also, just to let you know, if you come short, as they say, or if you've got to go sometime during the show, please walk up the stairs, across the balcony. There's a door up there. You can go down the stairs then and back out the door that you came. A bunch of washrooms downstairs next to the bar. Please do that because walking on the stage is just bad. Anyway, also I'd like to mention that no beer bottles or smoking is allowed in the theater. It's pretty obvious. But instead of beer bottles, please put them in cups. The cups then can be put in the garbage can when you leave. Also, a very, very important thing. Those of you in the audience this evening who have little doohickeys in your purses or pockets, take them out, flip them open, and switch them to vibrate or turn them off. These things are called cell phones. Please do this. No one in the audience nor backstage enjoys these things going off at any given time. And if you haven't already turned them off or set them to vibrate if you can, please do. Because I, being the hired muscle for the evening, will walk around, find you, and the crowd of pissy people around you, worm my way in, and toss you out. I'm sorry. This is what I have to do. But anyway, these is just some of the little things I have to let you know. Also, halfway through the show, there'll be a 15-minute intermission. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, the bar is open. So please take advantage of that. Anyway, have a good time, y'all, and enjoy the show.
Dear Amanda, this will be the last letter I write to you. I think we have made the right decision. Thank you for your love. We have had a wonderful experience these past 5 months. I want you to know that our time together will live in a special place inside of my heart. It is best if we do not phone or write. Love always, Joey.
I dreamed I saw Joe here last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. In Salt Lake City, Joe, says I, him standing by my bed. They framed me you on a murder charge, says Joe, but I ain't dead. Says Joe, but I ain't dead. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. Takes more than guns to kill a man, says Joe. I didn't die, says Joe, I didn't die. And standing there as big as life and smiling with his eyes, says Joe, what they can never kill went on to organize, went on to organize. From San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and mill, where workers fight and organize, 'tis there you'll find Joe Hill. 'Tis there you'll find Joe Hill. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. I never died, says he.
All right, now, what do you want? Now look, I'm the head of the sports department. I gotta know the ball players' names. Do you happen to know the guys' names? Sure. So you go ahead and tell me some of their names. All right, I'll introduce you to the boys. Now, nowadays sometimes they give ball players peculiar names. You mean funny names? Nicknames, pet names, like Dizzy Dean. His brother Daffy. Daffy Dean. And their cousin. Who's that? Goofy. Goofy, huh? Yep. All right. We have in the bags. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third. That's what I want to find out. I say, who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third. Look, do you know the guys' names? Certainly. Well, then who's on first? Yep. I mean the name of the guy. Who? The guy on first. Who? The first baseman. Who? The guy playing first. Who is on first? Now, what are you asking me for? I'm telling you. Who is on first? I'm asking you who's on first. That's the man's name. That's whose name? Yes. Well, go ahead and tell me. Who? The guy on first. First baseman. Who is on first? Have you got a contract with the first baseman? Absolutely. Well, who signs the contract? Of course. When you pay the first baseman off every month, who gets the money? Every dime. Why not? The man is entitled to it. Who is? Yeah, but sometimes his wife comes down and collects it. Whose wife? Of course. Look, all I want to know is, what's the name of the guy on first base? Oh no, don't switch him around. What's on second? I'm not asking who's on second. No, who's on first? I don't know. He's on third, but we're not talking about him. How did I get on third base? You mentioned the man's name. If I mention the third baseman's name, who did I say was playing third? No, who is on first? Never mind first. I want to know, what's your third baseman's name? No, what is on second? I'm not asking you who's on second. No, who is on first? I don't know. He's on third. Would you please stay on third base and don't go off it? Okay, what do you want? Now, who is playing third base? Now, why do you insist on putting who on third base? Why? Who am I putting over there? Yes, but we don't want him over there. What is the name of your third baseman? No, what is on second? I'm not asking you who's on second. Who is on first? I don't know. Third base. Have you got an outfield? Of course. Your left fielder's name? Why? I don't know, I just thought I'd ask.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Well, then tell me who's playing left field.
Now listen, who is on...
Stay out of the infield. I want to know what's your left fielder's name.
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who is on first?
I don't know. Third base. Your left fielder's name?
Why?
Because.
No, he's center field.
Have you got a pitcher on the team?
Wouldn't this be a fine team without a pitcher?
Your pitcher's name?
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me today?
I'm telling you now.
Then go ahead.
Tomorrow.
What time?
What time what?
What time tomorrow? You're going to tell me who's pitching.
Now look, who is not pitching? Who?
I will break your arm if you say who's on first. I want to know what's your pitcher's name.
What is on second?
I don't know.
Third base.
Have you got a catcher?
Of course.
Your catcher's name?
Today.
Today. And tomorrow's pitching.
Now you got it.
All we got is a couple of days on the team.
Well, I can't help that.
Well, I'm a catcher too, you know.
I know that.
Now suppose I'm catching on my team, and tomorrow's pitching on my team, and their heavy hitter gets up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tomorrow throws the ball, and the batter bunts the ball. And when the batter bunts the ball, me being a good catcher, I want to throw the guy out at first base. So I pick up the ball, and I throw it to who?
Now that's the first thing you said right today.
I don't even know what I'm talking about!
That's all you gotta do.
Let's throw the ball to first base.
Yep.
Now who has it?
Naturally.
Look, if I throw the ball to first base, somebody's got to catch it. Now who caught it?
Naturally.
Who caught it?
Naturally.
Who?
Naturally.
Naturally.
Yep.
Okay, so I pick up the ball and I throw it naturally.
No. You pick up the ball, you throw it to first base, and who gets it?
Naturally.
There you go.
So I pick up the ball and I throw it naturally.
You don't.
Now I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not saying it that way.
I said I throw the ball naturally.
No, you don't. You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Well, say that.
That's what I'm saying. I said I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Ask me.
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
There you go.
Same as you. I throw the ball to first base. Who gets it?
Naturally.
Who has it?
Naturally.
He better have it. I throw the ball to whoever it is on first base. The guy bobbles the ball and the runner runs to second. Who throws it? What? What throws it? I don't know. Throws it back to tomorrow. Triple play. Another guy gets up. It's a long fly ball because. Why? I don't know. He's on third. Now I don't give a darn.
What was that?
I said I don't give a darn.
Oh, that's a shortstop.
Dear Amanda, I dialed you last night because the Lucy Pie episode was on and I knew you'd want to see it. Anyway, while I was leaving a message, I leaned on the phone and accidentally punched in your message retrieval code. Sorry about that. Who's Francisco? Just curious. Joey.
I am going to do a little bit of a stand-up routine for you. I'm not going to dance, like, I don't know why they made me follow them, but anyways. It's great to be here for the festival finale of Shakespeare. We've had a great summer, and I think we should give Jen Dion, our artistic director, and all the people who work backstage with her a big round of applause for a fantastic summer. Those of you who do not know me, my name is Paul Power, and no, you're not having a stroke. I really am this short. Actually, everybody always asks me, do I find it a disadvantage to be this height? And I tell them no. Actually, there are a lot of advantages. First of all, whenever someone yells dunk, I don't have to. Also, I'm always usually at the envy of every guy because no matter where I am, I'm always in the direct sight line of cleavage. And of course, when I am bragging with the guys or whatever, I really am telling the truth when I brag about my manhood and say it reaches down to my knees. And I have a cheat sheet here because I'm not that intelligent. And also, my height does not infringe on my romantic life. I have a feeling that I would be as equally as pathetic if I was 6'2". But I have to admit, I am single. I am 29. So I don't care what anybody says, though. Being single in your late 20s is not all that bad. In fact, I'm having the best time of my life. Like, take last night, for example, playing the field. I had a very soft, candlelit, romantic dinner. Soft music, sexy dancing. Of course, it'd be a lot more romantic if I was with someone. And the myth about guys reaching their sexual peak when they are 18 years old, that's false too. Like I said, I'm 29, and I'm currently having the most adventurous, outrageous, wild sex of my life. Again, it'd be better if it was with someone. But I'm not always by myself. You know, I have entered that world of dating, that wild, wacky, wonderful, self-depreciating, humiliating world of dating. It's not that I don't like dating, it's just that when it comes to relationships, I am not exactly that good at it. There was one relationship, a little problem talking about we had like a little communications problem. I had a problem talking about my feelings. They didn't tell me their name, so. And actually, it was a he. Yes, I have to admit it, I am gay, so I think I've reached my minority quota. Disabled and gay. I don't know what the hell my mother was smoking when she was pregnant with me. Actually, you know, I didn't even know I was gay until I found out that my crutches work. And they were having an affair with a weeping willow. But anyways, it doesn't matter if you are gay or straight or whatever. I think the world of dating and relationships is hard on anybody. But I think also it gets easier when you get experience, especially with, you know, getting in a new relationship or breaking up. And experience has helped me a lot. The last relationship I had, I was very, very adult about it. Didn't do anything immature. I thought the relationship was over. So I went and I said, you know, I am tired of this. I'm tired of sitting by my phone for 2 weeks. I'm tired of willing for you to phone. I'm tired of longing for you. I don't care. It's over. They said, who are you? And I've also taken advice from friends when it comes to dating, especially how to meet people. Because we all know it's really, really hard to meet people. And so one of the advice that I took was the internet. A new way to meet people, and friends have told me how it's worked out for them. They've made great new friends. They've met the love of their lives. I, on the other hand, have found a new way to get dumped. And, you know, you can understand like going out and dating someone, seeing them for a while and getting dumped. But if you get dumped before you even like meet someone, I mean, does that say anything about my appeal? Really? So, anyways, as I was saying, that's enough about my relationship status. I want to say that it's great to be here with all my actor friends who are in Shakespeare, and a very, very talented group. And of course, that's what you do when you're an actor and you're talented. You do stuff like you do Shakespeare in the summer. Now, if you love acting and you're untalented, you do stuff like a commercial for the Canadian Legal Will Kit. Have you seen seen these people? I mean, I got a word of advice for them. If they are relying on their acting careers for their main source of income, they don't need to worry about a will because they're going to die flat broke. But they're not the first in the way of actors or celebrities in the entertainment industry who have made it without any talent. Comes to mind, how about Yoko Ono, the woman who has perfected the sound of a cat in heat. I swear, I don't know why her CDs are on the shelves. I swear, I went the other day and bought a CD, the best of Yoko Ono. I opened it up, there was nothing in it. Then, of course, there's Robert Downey Jr., who's a fine actor, but we all know that he has an undiscovered talent, and that's the talent to act sober. Just nominated for an Emmy for his work on Ally McBeal. Of course, that came after he fell off the wagon and managed to not get thrown back in jail. So there's a talent right there. He must have taken advice from OJ, of course, so it's working well for him. And of course, my favorite person, who's probably the news story of at least the past few years, Monica Lewinsky, who has proven that to show her talent, she doesn't need to get off her knees. And of course, the people who admire her obviously just have not heard of San Francisco. So, anyways, thank you very much.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting for it for weeks. The hype has skyrocketed. I'm ready. You're ready. We're all ready for the Robertson Drury Show. And now, the host of the Robertson Drury Show, Dan Jarman.
To the Robertson Drury Show. Let's have a big round of applause for Don Pardo! Don Pardo, everybody! Now then, ladies and gentlemen, we all know the reason why we're here tonight, to celebrate that special, special man, that talented comedian, that generous comedian, that philanthropist. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Robertson Drury! Tonight, live from the LSPU Hall, broadcast all over the world by satellite on NTV, and nationally by CBC, and possibly locally by Cable 9, it's the Robertson Drury Show! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we will have Robertson's first live appearance since he swept into the Gambo food riots of 1998 and saved all those lives. But first, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. But first, a serious moment. Let's just take a moment to reminisce about those horrible Gambo food riots. Let's think about the bloodshed, the property destruction, and the senseless destruction of all those poor sparrows. But, as we all know, Robertson swept in and helped save the day. And now we have a witness to the catastrophe, Mr. Abram White. Come on out, Abram! Now then, Abram, why don't you tell us how Robertson swept in and saved the day in Gambo?
Well, it was fairly early in the morning on a cold November day. And on that day, I was busy with me buddy Joe on the ground, bludgeoning him in the head with a rock. Because I needed to get his bread that he said was for his 6-month-old son. But I know he got a 7-month-old daughter, so he's lying. So I'm a bludgeoning away for his bread. And from behind me, I hears a voice, and standing over me is Robertson. And he comes to me and he says, as Joe dwindles in me hand, blooding everywhere, he says, break not the skull of thy brother, for there are few good skulls left in the world. And the blood that you shed on your hands be best your own. I could have cried right there. His words were so moving and beautiful that he was like an angel sent from God. Thank you, Robertson. God bless your little heart.
That was beautiful, Abram. Simply beautiful.
But ladies and gentlemen, on this special evening when we worship and bask in the glory that is Robertson, let us remember he doesn't just help in times of mass crisis. No, he also helps the ill. Philip Mercer, come on out! Let me tell our fine audience here in the studio and all over the world how Robertson helped you.
Well now, Dan, let's see now. It was a year ago, found out I had the brain cancer. Yeah, terrible, terrible thing. So anyway, I was lying in the hospital and had this big old growth coming out of my forehead. And it was oozing all these pus and so on and so forth, fluids and such. And the doctors couldn't identify it. They were sure, though, that I was going to die within a week. I was just so mad. Aww. Thank you. I was just so mad, I wanted to beat all the doctors to death with rocks, just like Abramir did to his friend Joe. I tell you, I was so mad. You know? So mad. But then Robertson, he came to visit me. You know? And he comes and he says, "The Lord has taken pity on you, my child, and he's decided to spare your life." And he grabbed hold of the big, huge, disgusting growth on top of my head. He ripped it right off and threw it out the window where it struck and killed a cat. So anyway, then he just kind of disappeared out the door. And but then the doctors came and they said that I didn't have cancer no more. So it was all right. And then, you know, I thank Jesus that Robertson was there to help me, because I was then able to follow my true calling, which is fencing, strolling, electronics equipment.
That was the most beautiful thing I've heard all day, Philip. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Robertson we all know and love just doesn't help the sick. He also helps those in need. Come on out, Big Leroy Gately! Why don't you tell us how Robertson intervened in your life?
Well, 2 years ago, I was homeless, and I was an alcoholic, and I was addicted to sniffing household cleaners. Well, one day, I was urinating on a car in a parking garage downtown. I was high on Javix fumes at the time. And Robertson Brewery comes up behind me, and he smacks me in the head. It was like a blow of pure righteousness.
You mean something like the punch of Christ?
No, more like the part of the devil. Well, anyways, he shouts at me, and he shouts, "Get thee to rehab, vagrant, and learn to use your toilet." And then he picks up a broken bottle of lambs off the ground that I just drank, and he smacks me over the head with it, and then he stabbed me in the gut with it. And then he drove off in the car that I just went and urinated on. But all the alcohol, the Javix fumes in my body just sort of flowed out of me and into the broken bottle stuck in my gut. And I went into rehab, and now I'm a non-union janitor. Thank you, Robertson.
That was so beautiful, Leroy, I could almost wet myself. But, oh, that Robertson, he helps many people. In fact, let's bring out another person that he's helped right now. Amy Parsons, come on out! Why don't you enlighten us on how Robertson enlightened your life?
Well, Dan, 4 years ago, when I was 17, I was a single mom, and I had no parents, no money, and I had a 4-month-old baby, and I just didn't have no money at all, so I had to take a job cleaning toilets at a motel where businessmen took their hookers. but that wasn't enough money, so I had to become a stripper. But see, none of the strip clubs would have sent me a resume, not even the Piccadilly. So I had to set up a strip busker spot, you know, like busk on the side of the road, like the buskers does. So I was setting up my strip spot on Blackhead Road one day, and then all of a sudden, there was Robertson. And there was just unearthly light around him. And it was really the street light behind him, but it looked like Jesus was behind him. Like Jesus. And Robertson says to me, he says, "Me child, take me to your apartment and you will be saved." So I took him to my apartment, and he said, "Me child, you got to go back to school." I said, "Okay." And then he said, "You gotta go back to school." And then he had sex with me. And then he left, and I never saw him again. And then I had this funny rash. But then I went back to school. I went back to school, and now I clean toilets as a union janitor. May God bless your soul, Robertson.
That, Amy, was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard of in the entire human race. But ladies and gentlemen, now the moment you've all been waiting for, the whole point of this evening, we're gonna have Robertson Drury come out himself in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Robertson! Perhaps if the audience counts down with me. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Robertson! Now he's a very humble man, so just a moment. Robertson!
Where is he?
Robertson!
Where the hell is he?
You know, I don't think he's gonna show up.
I thought you said he was going to be here.
I'm sure he'll be here, folks.
This really sucks.
Yes, this really sucks, my son.
That stupid bastard! He didn't show up!
I'm sure he'll be here. Just a second. Don Pardo, where's Robertson?
Don't ask me, I have no idea.
I don't got toilets. I got toilets to clean.
But he had sex with me! That dirty pervert!
Oh, screw this.
I hope he slips on me old tumor and breaks his damn neck.
I see this be Alzheimer's. That'll show him.
Now, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
right, Dan, listen, I'm getting out of here.
What? You too?
Not unless you want to start paying me overtime.
Good night, Don. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so unlike Robertson. What? What? Just a moment, there's a message for me on the side of the stage. What the hell do you mean Robertson's in Ontario?
So that's about as much applause as I was hoping for this evening, so first I'll get into character. Well, I had just met the girl and her boyfriend. She was ready for leaving him. And I was the way, yes, I was the key. I was her way to say I'm free. And he would never talk about it, which made me sad. I didn't see what we'd done that was so bad. We were all about 21. My career as a home wrecker had just begun. Now, I was thinking about the Canadian classic scene one fine day, and I found it too conservative, you might say. I knew her well and I knew him terrific. What's wrong if I wanted something specific? He would never talk about it, which hurted me. I never saw why that sorrow had to be. I was now about 24 and I was called home wrecker once more. Well, if someone's mad at me, why can't they tell me so? Why do they just avoid me? If someone's mad at me, why can't they tell me so? Because I would want to know. Meanwhile, out on the East Coast, I started wrecking homes, trying to convince girlfriends to leave and roam. Now, I didn't touch them because I didn't want them, but I wanted to affect them. I wanted to harm them. This was in the following year. My career as a home wrecker was in 3rd year. Well, another case of home wrecking that I have did was a girl that loved me no matter what she said. She tried to hide it just as long as she could to save her boyfriend pain, but it did no good. You see, I have certain traits and certain wants. Sometimes I'll try a certain thing to provoke a response. Sometimes I'll break a rule just to see who looks. Sometimes I'll knock on a door just to see what cooks. My career as a home wrecker is not yet through, no. There's all these home wrecking things to do. Sometimes I'll break a rule just to see who cares. Sometimes I'll knock on a door just to see who's there. Thank you. Don't need to be in character anymore. Because you see, I've got a fine sense of humor, but she doesn't laugh at my jokes. You've got this fine sense of humor, yes, I'm full of glee. Even my 1st grade teacher used to laugh at me. I got a fine sense of humor, got a full repertoire. I'm telling fine jokes when we're in the boudoir. 'Cause I've got a fine sense of humor, but she doesn't laugh at my jokes. Well, I wake up great. My sense of humor really rates. Yeah, I wake up hilarious. How come she's so serious? I think I'll call up somebody important, maybe Sigmund Freud, and say, hello, I'm an hilarious dude. Well, did something in her childhood bother her bad now? Yeah, I think so. 'Cause like I'm really funny and it's making her mad now. 'Cause I've got a fine sense of humor, but she doesn't laugh at my jokes. She's up at their morning cooking breakfast cereal. I'm just there boring her with my comic material. Yeah, she's there frying up eggs and yolks while I'm there thinking up hot jokes. I think I'll call up somebody intelligent, maybe Jean-Luc Godard, and say, how come making her laugh is so hard? I think I'll call up somebody intelligent, maybe Albert Camus, and say I've got some hot jokes I'd like to try on Vu. 'Cause I've got this fine sense of humor, but she doesn't laugh at my jokes.
Right. This piece is called Waiting, and I wrote it 3 years ago for one of those notorious things English professors make you do, which is write in class essays in 50 minutes. And yeah, so it's called Waiting. She sits by the newspaper-covered window, relaxing, or so she says. We both know we're waiting. The breeze seeps through the cracks of the stripped wall, toying with the newspaper. Ayo, these leaky Vancouver condos, wasting money only lah. Now all these repairs make it so cold inside, she grumbles as she reaches for her chopsticks. Her fingers dance on the bamboo stilts, clearing some food into plastic containers. Don't want the food to get cold, she mutters as she enters the kitchen. Steam envelopes her frail body, and all I can see is the Chinese brocade jacket, propping her up. I offer to help. She declines. It's like this every time, this game we play. I offer to show good upbringing, and she declines. So her domain, the kitchen, isn't challenged. I stare at the finely laid table, the intricately carved plastic chopsticks, resting on jade chopstick rests. Next to them is fine bone china, which is opalescent under the light. On the rotating board, the Peking duck is surrounded by mushrooms for success, cooked with fa choy seaweed for prosperity, steamed fish for abundance, changi noodles for longevity, and broccoli for preventing cancer. The feast is in celebration of the Eve of Chinese New Year, a festival whose significance is not appreciated by our foreign friends until we provide a translation. Picture Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve combined together. And here we are, waiting for my brothers to come home from midterm exams. They resent tonight. They wanted to unwind at the pub with their friends, not sit at a dinner table, especially our table, which is fraught with emotions and tensions of unspoken words. I silently curse them for leaving me with this woman I barely understand. My drive for career made her drive for domesticity incomprehensible. My mother checks on the soup and returns to her seat. I love these times when can sit and relax. So many things to do, you know. Keep house clean, cook food. All those books you read. Who? Jane Austen? And that woman who wrote Little Girls? No, Little Woman. They all don't understand. Always make Beth, that girl who likes to keep house, play second to Joe, just because Joe have career. I smile and nod. My cheek muscles hurt, but I hold the smile because it was either smile or argue, and I wasn't about to do the latter. Where were they? They come home soon. University important. Education important. Festival can wait. Examination must be well. She senses my agitation, and I smile harder. She beams with pride. All her life, this was what she wanted, to put her children into university. Like other Asian parents, the concept of children paying their own tuition never entered their heads. When I insisted on doing so, she balked, perceiving an insult to her capability of funding us. All our lives, she scrimped and saved every penny. We were only allowed to buy clothes once a year. She herself bought new clothes once in 5 years, and even then, it was discounted items. The only time she broke that self-imposed rule was during a post-summer sale. It was a burgundy chiffon dress, which looked tailored for her when she tried it on. She keeps it shrouded in plastic, hung between her starched nurse uniforms, and only raincoat. I have never seen her wear it since. My father thought she looked beautiful in it. It shocked me to hear him describe her as such. When I was a child, it disturbed me that I never saw them hold hands or kiss or call each other sweetheart. My father often said, "Your mother is a good wife." And I would think, good? She's not a puppy. Why not excellent, or amazing, or great at least? When he died, she just continued life, so well that I doubted she missed him. Until one night, I returned earlier than planned and found her huddled in his chair, her sobs racking her shoulders. And all I could do was sit at the armrest and cradle those shoulders. We never spoke of that incident. Today she wears his padded silk brocade jacket. He used to wear it during the winters. I find myself staring. The jacket seems to dwarf her. I never noticed how petite she was. Her strength always seemed to fill up so much space. There are rips in the seams my father never bothered to sew. They've now become gaping holes, but my mother doesn't sew them. She says she loves the holes. The unmistakable sound of a key jingling the lock signals my brother's return. My mother hastens to reheat the soup, reminding them to scrape their boots on the doormat. She's in her element. This is my mother, whose whole life seems to revolve around waiting for men or waiting on men. I love her and envy her and admire her and pity her. I could never be as selfless as she. The tragedy is, at the end of the day, all she will have left is that wisp of burgundy chiffon as she sits in her leaky condo alone.
If I can see my whole shadow, I know I'm in the light. Hello, my name is George.
Hi, George.
I'm talking to you, but that's okay. According to your programs, I'm going to tell a story today in Act 2. This doesn't really look like Act 2, so I don't know if that means I have to tell a story anymore. But it's okay, because that's not really why I came in today. When I was asked if I wanted some time today, I thought that's really cool, because that'll give me a moment to say how much I really liked doing the Shakespeare by the Sea Festival this year and doing Merchant of Venice. It was so much fun. And there were so many actors that I really, really enjoyed working with. I would like a chance to work with those actors again. So I'm going to shamelessly use this opportunity to announce a call for auditions on September 12th and 13th for The Recess. Production will be October 16th to 19th in the Basement Theater of the Arts and Culture Center. It's going to be great. It's a Greek tragedy. Not a well-known Greek tragedy, probably the least well-known of all the Greek tragedies. But it's got some characters that some people would know and remember. Hector, the prince of the Trojans, who's the greatest warrior of the Trojans. It also has Athena, who's this big burly war goddess, who pretends to be Aphrodite, actually. She pretends to be this sultry goddess as well, so it's kind of cool. And it also has Odysseus, who's the wiliest, most cunning character in the Greek army at Troy. Obviously, we know Odysseus from many other places. The Rhesus is obviously not the most well-known of sources for the character of Odysseus. We would probably have to say the Odyssey is the best-known source for Odysseus. That's where we really see him. He gets 24 whole books, a whole work by Homer dedicated to him, and it's pretty cool. I find a lot of people don't actually know what the Odyssey is about, at least in its entirety. If you ask someone on the street, what's the Odyssey about? They might just tell you that, well, it's the story of Odysseus going home from the Trojan War, which is half true. Odysseus goes to the Trojan War. He fights for 10 years with all the other Greeks. They win, of course. In the Odyssey, he goes home, and he takes another 10 years to do it. He has all these weird misadventures, and he gets stuck on islands for many years, and it takes him 10 years to get home. But the Odyssey is not just the story of Odysseus getting home, because he gets home halfway through the Odyssey. Book 13 of 24 books, Odysseus arrives on the shore of Ithaca by himself, Ithaca being his home island. He is actually the king of Ithaca. But he's been gone for 20 years. Things haven't been going so well in Ithaca. Odysseus lands by himself in this little bay, no one around, and he's planning to go up over the hill to his palace and walk in and say, "Hello everybody, I'm back." Athena comes down, Athena the goddess again. She really likes Odysseus. Odysseus is her favorite human because she's a really crafty god-type person. Odysseus is a really crafty human-type person. So they really mesh well. They're sort of the smart guys on both teams. And Athena tells Odysseus, she's like, well, you can't just go over the hill and into the palace. Your palace is filled with suitors, guys who want to marry your wife, the wife that you left behind 20 years ago. Your house is filled with these guys. They're having feasts every day at your expense. They're trying to force Penelope, your wife, to marry one of them and make someone else king of Ithaca. Penelope's been holding out for 20 years now, or at least 10 years since the end of the Trojan War. So Athena tells Odysseus, this is what I will do for you. If you just go over there and they see you coming, there's a whole bunch of them. They're going to kill you. You need a clever, stealthy way, to get into the palace and kill these suitors before they know what's happening. I'm a clever, stealthy goddess, so let's do something here. She gives Odysseus a disguise. Odysseus is a very lordly, kingly-looking guy. Athena uses her god magic and zaps him to make him look like a beggar. She gives him crappy clothes, kind of like the ones I'm wearing, and makes him not look kingly. So he has this divine disguise, and no one will be able to recognize him. So this is all very good. Odysseus can now go over the hill and sneak into the palace, and no one will know it's him. So he starts to go over the hill. Gets to the top of the hill, and he meets a man named Aeneas. Aeneas was a servant of Odysseus down in the palace over 20 years ago when Odysseus was there. He's an old man now, of course. It's 20 years ago. But Aeneas is one of the few servants that Odysseus had when he left who has remained faithful in his absence. Aeneas has moved up to the mountainside. He's become a goat herder now. He's tending the flocks. And he's taking care of the goats because he doesn't want to be down in the palace where all the suitors are. And a lot of the other servants as well have kind of got corrupt and stuff by the suitors. Aeneas takes Odysseus, this stranger who he doesn't know. He really does know it, but he doesn't know right now because of the disguise, remember. Takes him into his little shack, gives him dinner because it's nighttime and he's being hospitable to a stranger. Odysseus, as the stranger, convinces Aeneas to show him the way to the palace the next day. Odysseus says, I want to go down to the palace and try and beg for food because look at me, I'm a beggar, can't you tell? Because he knows he's got that divine costume thing going on, right? So Aeneas says, well, I think that's a pretty dumb idea. The suitors aren't very nice guys, as a whole. But, we'll take you down and we'll see what's going on. Odysseus goes down to the palace. When he goes down to the palace and goes into the palace, he is recognized twice. 2 times his divine costume, his divine aura that Athena has put on gets seen through. Someone sees through it. That's very important because I'm going to tell you about one of those times right now. Odysseus and Aeneas go down the hill. They come to the palace and they're walking towards the palace and they go by the palace stables. As they go by the stables, Aeneas is making chit-chat with Odysseus. He's saying, well, how do you want to do this? Would you like me to go into the palace first and you can follow me? Or would you like to go in the palace first and I'll follow you? Sort of inane chatter. I don't know why they want to go in any specific order, but whatever. It's important to the story because Odysseus, as we find out, actually isn't paying attention to this part of the conversation. As he walks by the stables, he looks over and he sees a pile of manure, of dung, right? At the bottom of that pile, he sees a dog lying in the dung, in the manure. And he looks at the dog, and the dog has obviously not had a very good life. It's obviously been in that dung pile a long time. But he looks at the dog, and he thinks maybe he knows the dog. Before he left for Troy, Odysseus had a dog that he'd gotten as a puppy. And he raised that dog to go hunting with him, and to be the best hunting dog ever. It was going to run faster than all the other dogs. And the puppy had a lot of promise. It was growing up, it was becoming very, very fast, it was a very strong, very healthy dog. But Odysseus went to the war. He went to the Trojan War before the dog was old enough to take hunting. So he's like, could this be the same dog after all these years? And he's already sort of got a tear in his eye, even now, as he's just thinking of the possibility that this could be his dog. So he kind of has to turn away from Aeneas, and he wipes a tear away. But he's pretty crafty, so he's able to do it without Aeneas knowing. He says to Aeneas, his shepherd, goat herd friend, he says, Aeneas, I'm looking at this dog here. And it looks like it's had a pretty rough life, right? It looks like it's been in that pile of manure a long time. But as I look at this dog, it seems almost as if this dog had some pretty good potential. That, in a different life, this could have been a really cool dog that could have run fast and hunted, the boar and the deer really, really quick and would have been a good friend, right, to whoever had it. And Aeneas looks at Odysseus and says, well, stranger, you're absolutely right. This dog's name is Argus. It was Odysseus' dog before he left for Troy. And Odysseus raised this dog as a puppy to be the best hunter on all of Ithaca. But there the story gets really sad because Odysseus had to go to the Trojan War. The household slaves never treated the dog very well at all. And once the suitors moved in, things got worse. That dog has been in that pile of shit for a long, long time. So Odysseus is really, really sad, when he hears this, because, this was a dog, it's supposed to be your best friend, and then you find out it's been living in a pile of dung for 20 years. But there's more to the story, because while Odysseus and Aeneas are speaking, the dog perks up, because the dog hears Odysseus' voice, and it recognizes Odysseus. After 20 years, this dog recognizes Odysseus. And it lifts its head, it perks its ears up, sticks its tongue out to try and lick them, but it can't move. It's so old, it can't move anymore. It's been in that pile of dung a long time, and it's so decrepit. And Odysseus looks at the dog, he lets the dog lick his hand, and what happens then? The dog dies. That's it. The dog dies. How is that funny? This dog has been sitting in a pile of shit, the deep dung of mules and cattle, as Homer puts it, for 20 years, just waiting for the possibility that his master will come home and visit him one last time. I don't know if you know anything about dogs, but they generally don't live 20 years. This dog, if a dog makes it past 10 years even, I think, that's a pretty lucky dog and a pretty long-lived dog. This dog makes it twice that long. He's been waiting for 20 years past the natural lifespan of any other dog, and I'm sure they did not have scientifically engineered dog food back then, so, this is a pretty significant feat. He's been enduring a really crappy life, literally, just for the possibility that his master will come home. And when his master does come home, black death creeps over the dog's eyes, and the dog is no more. That is the most loyal dog I have ever heard of. And it is the most amazing dog in all of history, I think, that ever was. Doesn't matter if it was real or not, that's a cool dog. It makes me think of my dog. I wish my dog, he lives in British Columbia now. I hope, he's always waiting for me. Don't know if he'll make it 20 years, though. And I know he doesn't live in shit, because my parents aren't that mean. But it's pretty cool. And to me, Homer, the Odyssey, and the Iliad, all of classical literature are filled with these short little stories. The story I just told you came from less than 50 lines of the Odyssey. 600 lines a book, 24 books, that would be, 288. That's 1/288th of the Odyssey. That's 1/2 of 1/288th of the whole Homer canon. And it's an absolutely insignificant part of the whole classical canon. And that's really why I'm a classicist. It's pretty cool. The whole canon is just filled with these little stories. Like in book 10 of the Iliad, which is about a man named Rhesus. And there's a play about the Rhesus, which will be produced October 16th and 19th. Hope to see everyone there. Thank you very much.
Hey! What? Did you see it? What? It! Huh? It! Huh? There! Here! Here! Is it the most amazing, absolutely beautiful work you've ever seen?
I wish I knew exactly what I mean. It starts out like an A word, anyone can see. Somewhere in the middle, it gets awful queer to me. If I ever find out just what this word can mean, I'll be the smartest girl the world has ever seen. It might be a kind of elephant, or funny kind of zoo, or strange exotic turtle you'll never see in a zoo, or maybe a kind of a doggy, a particular shade of blue, or maybe a pretty flower. No way, not with a name like that. Abracadabra, do exist. It's the most remarkable word I've ever seen. Abracadabra, do exist. I wish I knew exactly what it means. It starts off like an A word, like anyone can see, but somewhere in the middle it gets awful queer to me. Ow! Abracadabra, do exist. If I ever find out just what this word can mean, I'll be the smartest girl the world has ever seen. Well, I'm the smartest girl because I can do lots of stuff. I'm pretty. I can sing. You can't. Yeah, I can too. Bet you don't know this song. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around, I know it. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. Oh, oh, so is life. Ow, oh, so is life. Oh, oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do I know who you are? Do you know who I am? Who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? We come from the mountain, truly from the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit. Go back to the spirit, turn the world around. Oh, oh, so is life. Ah, ah, so is life. Oh, oh, so is life. Ah, ah, so is life.
Dear Amanda, I realized that I still had your set of 6 Japanese sake cups that I bought for you on our trip downtown, and was wondering when it might be a good time to drop them off. You can give me a call at the usual number, but maybe better at the office up till 7. But then try the car, where I'm usually home now by 7:45. I would like to get these back to you, as I know you must be thinking about them. This will be my last letter. Regards, Joey.
Deer in the garden. Good morning, Roberto yelled, heart-grown, heart-shout, heart-morning incantation, as he stretched his arms and legs beneath the single bedsheet. The sun shone brilliantly, an hour risen, swelling, confident, easily piercing through the slats in the window's blinds. What a morning, Roberto continued, sheet half off, his wife beside him grudgingly pulled into semi-consciousness. Roberto, a sated lion, growled again, then put one foot to the floor. He looked back at Jessica, a goddess curled up in the sheet beside him. He put his hand on the contour of her waist briefly, but eternally. And then in an instant he was out of bed, Homo erectus, in his full hairy glory peeking between the blinds. There's a moose in our yard. Jessica moved the pillow away from her face. What? No, I guess it's a deer. Jessica opened one eye. Every morning we go out and we see their prints, see where they've munched your tulips, but this is the first time, Jessica, the first time we can actually see the deer. Jessica sat upright, holding the sheet over her bosom. There's a deer. Come and see. Jessica came to the window, the entire bed sheet trailing behind her like a bridal gown. Roberto put on some clothes. Isn't it beautiful? Roberto now held open a lower slat of the blind for his wife because she was much shorter than he. He fingered the slat very gingerly, very delicately, for he did not want to frighten the deer. Look, said Jessica. She was not quite awake. He's after the lettuce. Jessica didn't feel she'd put the full measure of annoyance into her voice that the situation required, so she kicked her husband. You have to stop him, Roberto. Even deer have to eat, Jessica. There's a whole mountainside for them to eat. Roberto ignored the comeback, looked at Jessica. A goddess, yes, a draped Venus worthy of Michelangelo himself. Roberto extended his hand towards Jessica's bosom and pulled the sheet a few centimeters away from the divine marble it covered. Roberto, Jessica replied, slapping Roberto's adoring hand. Go down there and shoo away the deer. All right, but I'm sure all we have to do is yell at it. Deer are shy creatures, as everyone knows. Jessica looked around the room to find her glasses. Good. They were where she left them. Once on her head, she looked back at the bedside clock. It's only 5:30, she exclaimed. I know, said Roberto, smiling. To be up with the sun was a triumph, and Roberto had triumphed. Yoo-hoo, dear! Roberto cried out, but not too loud, just enough to get its attention. Yoo-hoo, little ungulate! The deer looked up, struggled briefly to see a shape behind the half-open blinds. Then it moved off a few steps and began to sample the spinach. I told you, Roberto! Jessica slapped him on the bum, which immediately she realized was a mistake. A broad smile grew in Roberto's face, quickly turning into a leer. Jessica! Go and shoo the deer first! Roberto sighed. You want me to go and chase away the cute little deer? It's going to eat all our garden! Roberto's body suddenly tensed. A brilliant idea had come to him. We could have venison. Go, Roberto. Jessica dismissed her husband with a wave. She had to find a comb. All right, Roberto replied, swiftly striding to the bedroom door and then to the landing at the top of the stairs. I am on my way, but first, Roberto breathed deeply. The smell of morning was everywhere, penetrating the open windows into all corners of the house. Honeysuckle, the dew on grass, the wet sweetness of strawberries ready to be picked, and the delicate aroma of Jessica herself wafting through the open door. Down the stairs Roberto ran, jumping 2 steps at a time, sometimes 3. Across the Hellespont he leaped, as only a man can whose 2 children are out of town with summer jobs. Meanwhile, still looking through the blinds, Jessica said, Hurry, Roberto, before he eats everything! An echoing voice from below answered, How do you know it's a he? Go away, dear, shoo! The deer again looked up to the window and blind, not at all puzzled by a human, half flesh-colored, half as white as a sheet. It returned to its feeding. I am out the door, Roberto yelled from below, noticing his camera hanging from a knob on the coat rack. Roberto! What? Jessica quickly rifled through a drawer. Put on some clothes! What? Roberto was pleased to see he still had some film left in the camera. He lifted the strap of the camera carefully from the knob and put it around his neck. Put on some clothes! A pair of pants and a sweatshirt suddenly flew down the stairs in the direction of Roberto. Inadvertently, a pair of Jessica's panties clung to the tumble. Clothes, Jessica repeated. Jessica rushed back to the window. Now the deer was back at the lettuce, never eating a complete plant, but sampling as might a gourmet at a vegetable tasting banquet. Hurry, Roberto! Then to the deer, go away! Jessica stamped her foot. If you want to eat something, eat my lovage! The deer's head suddenly rose up from its feeding, its ears cocked up. Jessica gasped in hopeful anticipation. I think it may be leaving, Roberto. What? Roberto's ears cocked up, much like the deer's. He looked at the tumble of clothes now at the bottom of the stairs and saw the panties mixed up with his jeans. Momentarily, he was distracted. Jessica's voice changed to a loud whisper. It's starting to head for the embankment. No, Roberto yelled to himself. It cannot be. The first day of all days we have seen the deer with our own eyes and... Roberto was out the door and quickly down the concrete steps. At once he felt the dewy grass between his toes. He shivered, then sighed as the pleasure ran like electricity up his spine. Jessica made more urgent sounds from upstairs, but Roberta was out of hearing range. Swish, swish, through the grass Roberta walked, hunched over, venison man, stalking with his camera. For a moment he hid himself behind the apple tree. There it is! The deer was now between the garden and the embankment, trying to decide if it should leave. Not yet, Roberta whispered, changing his camera's settings to manual focus. Not yet, my little hoofed friend. The deer was wary because now there was a new smell in the air. Roberta took one step away from the apple tree. He moved carefully, stealthily, eyes fixed on the deer who was frozen like a lawn ornament. If I can get just a few steps closer, Roberta thought. Roberto! Jessica's whisper was urgent. Roberta moved ever so slowly. A little closer, foot in the air, arcing down in slow motion, his whole body advancing at glacial speed. Don't move, my little one. Roberto had his eye glued to the viewfinder, adoring the precious ungulate trapped in its view. One more moment and Roberto! Jessica yelled, making the deer leap into the bushes. It was only now that Roberto snapped the shutter. Damn! But before his cursing could grow more eloquent, he noticed the sound of women's shoes clacking down the street a few meters above him. The sun continued to shine brilliantly. Roberto wasn't in the least cold. Lupins in every direction burst forth like fireworks, and he could almost hear the raspberries ripening. Good morning, Dr. McBride, Roberto yelled out. His voice was deep and clear. It is a fine morning, is it not? The older woman nodded her head, unaware there had just been a deer in the vicinity, but pleased all the same to see what surprises her early morning walk had held for her. Very nice, Dr. McBride finally managed to reply, again nodding towards Roberta, whose camera glinted spectacularly in the sunshine and dangled just below his navel.
Good morning. I'm interested in buying a hearing aid.
What was that?
I'm interested in buying a hearing aid.
I didn't quite catch that.
I want to buy a hearing aid.
Hang on a minute, I'll switch the radio off. Now what was that you were saying?
What?
What were you saying?
I can't hear.
What?
The radio is too loud.
Oh, this is better now, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Oh, hang on a second, I think my hearing aid switched off. You'll have to excuse me, I've only had it a few days. Yes, that's better. It's on now.
Is it good?
About 14 guineas.
Yes, but is it good?
No, it fits very snugly in the ear, right here.
Can you hear me?
What?
Can you hear me?
Contact lenses. What? You want contact lenses?
No.
I'll get Dr. Waring then because he does the lenses. I only do the hearing aids, you see.
Yes, but...
Good morning, sir. You want some lenses, do you?
What was that?
You want some lenses, do you?
I can't quite hear what you're saying, Dr. Waring.
I think you need a hearing aid, so not lenses.
No, I wanted the hearing aid.
Who said that? Is there someone else here? I think there's somebody else here.
What?
Yes, it's me, here.
You wanted the lenses, did you, sir?
No, I wanted a hearing aid.
No, Mr. Rogers will deal with you, sir. Someone to see you, Mr. Rogers! He'll be here in a moment. Now, sir, you wanted some lenses, did you? This way, please.
Pardon?
This way.
I don't understand.
But why didn't you say more, Rogers?
What?
You know my lenses play me up sometimes. I do apologize for that confusion. Now, you wanted some lenses, did you, sir?
No, I wanted the hearing aid.
No, Mr. Rogers will deal with you, sir. I'll deal with this gentleman here. Now, sir, if you come this way, we'll try on some lenses. After you.
Excuse me, Mr. Rogers. I want a hearing aid.
I'm worried about Dr. Waring. I think he thinks he's with someone.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Had you better
No, I'd better go and tell
What's wrong with you?
Warren!
Ah, there you are. I thought I lost you.
Dr. Warren, you're not with anybody.
Well, who's that speaking to me then? Oh, don't be silly. Sit down.
What?
Well, why didn't you say you're Rogers?
About 4:15.
Are you the gentleman who wanted the contact lenses?
No, I wanted the hearing aid.
So you must be the gentleman who wanted the contact lenses.
I want a hearing aid!
Oh, these two gentlemen want hearing aids, Rogers.
You know, I don't think my hearing aid's working properly. Hang on. It's so loud it hurts! Oh, that's better. Oh, bloody heck. Nobody move. I've lost my contact lenses.
I want to complain about my contact lenses.
What?
I want to complain about my contact lenses. They're terrible. They've ruined my eyesight.
I haven't given you any.
You're a liar.
What?
You quack.
Don't you speak to me that way.
I'll speak to you how I like. Ah, how dare you?
What?
Rough stuff, eh?
If that's the way you want.
Keep away from me!
Ah, backing up now, are we? Smash up my shop, would you? Got you!
Help, I'm being attacked! Help, Dr. Warren!
It's all right, Rogers, I got him.
Quick, I've got him twist! Grab his arm!
I can't, it's going round the waist. Never mind, let's throw him out.
I'm going to throw him out!
Attack Mr. Rogers, would you? There's more than a match for you.
Oh! Ow! Ah! Help, he's coming around the throat!
It's all right, Rogers, I got him around the throat.
No!
Right, throw him out.
1,
2, 3.
I wasn't expecting the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Surprise!
Dear Amanda, it was a lucky coincidence that my cat leapt on your speed dial button last night, as it gave us a chance to talk again. Afterwards, I was wondering what you meant when you said, "It's over, Joey, get it into your head." So many interpretations. Just curious. Oh, I found myself on your street last night and noticed a yellow Mustang that I don't remember ever being at your apartment complex. Is this the mysterious Francisco I've heard rumors about? No big deal, just curious. I left one of the sake cups at your front door. It happened to be in my car. What was that loud music? With respect, Joey.
Hey everybody, this is Too Tall. Okay, everything's cool. Alright. My name is Kevin. I'm going to play a couple songs for you. The skeleton walks into a bar, asks the bartender for a beer and a mop. Think about it. Just think about it. Beer and a mop. Okay. Can you hear that? Okay. Love flew high like a bat on wings transparent, singing always going on, never coming down, down, down. Amongst the flowers and the weeds, what's the difference? What's the difference? Love flew high like a rainbow, colors faded, going on, always coming down, down. on a lonely road or a pot of gold. But what's the difference? What's the difference? Somewhere Estelina's never traveled, I've been and seen the silence of your eyes. And my love flew from them on miniature wings, on miniature wings. Love flew high like an enlightened Buddha, wearing robes, eyes half closed, 2 fingers touching the ground, ground, ground. Under a lamppost or a Bodhi tree. But what's the difference? What's the difference? Love flew high like a seagull, white and shining and diving to the sea, to the sea. To catch fish or a submarine. What's the difference? What's the difference? Gladly beyond Estelina's travels, fingers open and close. And like petals from a rose, my love flew from them on miniature wings, on miniature wings, miniature wings, miniature wings. Thank you. All right, what's next? Oh, another joke! You're in luck. What do you use to clean a tuba? A tube of toothpaste. Okay. All right, I really like story songs. This next one's a story. It's called Ballad of a Young Man. The young man is not me. Let's just get that straight right away. There once was a young man, spent all of his life searching for something, but he didn't know what. One day he found a help wanted sign, and he asked the man what was the job. But before he could get the words out of his mouth, he spotted a pretty young thing, and he said, I'll take the job no matter what, if that girl comes in once or twice a week. And the man said, sorry son, you've got good taste, but I've been married to that girl for 2 months. The job is yours. No, that's wrong. Your eye is good, but your luck is not. The job is yours. If you don't mind washing the pots, washing bottles and washing the floors, and looking on a woman that'll never be yours. He counts the lights of a city, and he finds it hard to move. Shining lights are twinkling stars, looking for the moon. And he's fallen down a thin shaft of air. Things have altered his mind. Should he dare take the time to breathe? His hands reach out for something to hold, and he murmurs his own name by a fleeing dark ground to remind himself that he exists. And as the years pass by, like with the veins, he lands head first on cold, cold cement. Father, where are you? Can you hear me? He says. There once was a young man. No, that's wrong. Can I tell another joke? I'll skip to the last verse. There once was an old man, spent all of his life settling for nothing, nothing he got. headstone reads, watch where you're stepping. There's a man here once loved. And dead leaves color his grave. Sorry about that, I forgot. Why did the monkey fall out of the tree? Because he was dead. Yeah, that's funny stuff. Like the dead dog. All right. This next one is called Number 9. I know I'm going to screw this one up. That's a bad way to start. That's a bad thing to say to the audience, isn't it? This is going to be really bad. Okay. Go. Old fortune teller, she tells me my number's gonna be number 9. Old fortune teller, she tells me my number's gonna be number 9. And that number's gonna be with me till the day I die. 9 is the number of men I've shot. 9's the number of times I've been caught. 9 times 99 years I'll spend in this cell. 9's the number of whiskeys I can drink. 9's the number of wives I've had, I think. 9 times I've tried, 9 times I've failed. I got 9 hours left before they take me down that road. 9 prayers I'm gonna say to try to save my soul. Oh, fortune teller, she told me number 9 will be with me till they put me in that hole. I don't know what I was doing with that, but anyway.
A documentary, eh? Well, I suppose I can go with that. I can tell you some stories that would make you not just, you wouldn't believe any of it. To be honest, you would not believe a single word I have to say. There's so, what? Oh, you're not interested in that sort of thing, are you? Well, yeah, I suppose I can understand that, yes. Hard facts, biographical details. That's what, oh yes, I can supply that. Don't worry, don't you worry about me. Well, it was the nobility of this profession that inspired me. I mean acting by that, of course. I had a few directors very early on. I was fortunate enough to meet them, and they paid me some special favor after seeing the talent I had. Just little bits of, little extra lines they'd throw in just to give the parts a bit of extra symbolic meaning, you understand. I always like to spice up my parts with a little bit of doubt my characters always had. Even when the script didn't call for it or anything, I always used to put in just a smidgen of doubt, just to make it more interesting for people, because people would love that. I'd spend entire productions just honing the amount of doubt I would put into a character. Well, eventually the film industry called through an open audition, and I answered. I've been in a fair number of films since I've started, quite a large number actually. The parts were never really the largest, or the most prestigious. I never won an Oscar, of course not, or any other awards actually. Still, the great talents always go unrecognized in their lifetimes. That's what they've always told me. They said the same about Bach. Said the same about Bach. Joyce as well, too. Though to be honest with you, I don't really know that much about literature. But you understand what I mean, of course. And I never won any of those stupid, what are they called, golden raspberries that they give to the worst work in film. That entire institution is a disgrace to the profession. A pure and simple disgrace. Well, how's my career been going? Well, it's continually climbing. Although, when I think about it, I will be the first to admit that it's been a very long time since I was last in a picture of any great importance, or really any minor importance. Now that you mention it, but no, I've tried. I've just been a little down on my luck a little bit sometimes. That's all. Things always pick up after a while. You know how the nature of this business is. I mean, in this business, when you're like me and you're approaching 50 and you're telling people you're approaching 40 and you can tell by the looks on their faces that, well, no one is really believing you, well, that's the God's honest truth if ever I heard it. Am I right? Of course. Well, the last picture I was in, not the last picture of any importance, that was a really long time ago. The last picture I was in was this little independent production. I think it was just, most of the filming was done somewhere in Hamilton or something. Can't really remember. Some of the money came from Sony Pictures, I think. It was very inexpensive, this was. A young cast, mainly young actresses who were working almost practically for free. I wasn't really let in on the formal accounting procedures of it all. After all, it was just a small film, and I was only in a couple of scenes. What? Oh, hang on, there's an old friend of mine, Jimmy Mulville. He'd be great for what you want. Jimmy! Over here! It's Gordon! Gordon Williamson! William with a W! Williamson with a W! From the last stand-up coach East in 1993. You remember? No? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh, you're just leaving. Okay. I guess I'll see you later then. Yeah, it was nice talking to you. Yeah, good. Yeah. Bye, Jimmy. Good old Jimmy. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes, now I remember. It was a very inexpensive picture, I remember. I played the dean of this, I think it was a liberal arts college. A very tough, no-nonsense type of character this was. I thought that if I played him as sort of a once idealistic young teacher who was driven into his cold-hearted nature by the the industrial grind of the higher education system, then I could really spice up the part a lot. You know what I'm saying? I could really give myself something to work with, because the script, to be honest with you, wasn't the best. Although the director wouldn't really have any of that. He was also the writer, incidentally. And no, he said I couldn't really change the script or anything, you know, just because if I did, then most of the other scenes wouldn't work in the film, you know, involving me in mentioning my name. But, you know, I just told him it's a little character change. There's no need to change the script or anything. And he seemed fine with that. He seemed fine with that. Although, when I saw the final cut of the film, when it was all completed and released, I noticed that a lot of my scenes had been cut. The film was now concentrating mainly on the buxom, that is how I can describe, the buxom young actresses who were in it with me. Yes, I didn't speak to most of them, but I knew some of them from the set, and they were very nice. They were quite nice. Yeah. But no, to answer your question, I suppose things have been slowing down a bit for me. It's I guess it just comes with the territory of the industry. You understand? I mean, it's all just a relative concern. I mean, an actor can go through a period where he has to turn down 15, sometimes even 20 scripts in a week, just because he doesn't have the time. And there are other points in his career where he goes literally months without seeing a scrap of paper. And you know, that's just fine. I mean, that's you have your slumps and you have your climbs and you have your plateaus. Admittedly, I have been on a very low-lying plateau for quite a while now, but things are bound to pick up. It's just a dry spell I've been having. That's all. Just a little dry spell. No big deal about that. It'll go away. All it takes is one good picture to get out of that. Just one good picture. On my business now? Well, to be honest with you, I've been taking a little vacation from the film industry lately. Just, I've been concentrating on community theater again. Getting back to my roots, you understand what I mean. And I think, it's just... do you want to know why? Well, I just... Things, as I said, have been going a little downhill, I guess. You know what I mean, right? Yes. Oh, you're leaving? So come on, so soon? I was just going to tell you about this experience I had when I was in New York for a while, doing some slightly off Broadway stuff. I think it was just down a couple of blocks down from Broadway. It was, and I was living in this apartment complex, and you wouldn't believe it. I saw Carl Malden. That's right, Omar Bradley and Patton. Carl Malden in an elevator. I could hardly believe it myself. What? Oh, you have other appointments? Yes, well, that's completely understandable. Yeah, I understand completely. No, you go on about your business. I'll just. There's no need for you to stay here and talk to an old actor. Yes, I'll probably be seeing you around, actually. Might see you around the film set. I can tell you've got a bright future ahead of you. Goodbye.
Dear Amanda, this will be the last letter I write to you. I hate to hurt you like this, but I'm seeing someone new. You'd like her. Her name is Marissa. She has exactly the same number of letters in her name as you. Incidentally, I heard that Francisco had, or is having, a tax problem. Should I meet with him? I'm over it all now and would be glad to help. Also, a word of warning. Latins. One woman is never enough. Just a thought. Joey. Do you have my red Pentel pen? I really need it. Page me when you get this.
I find that most of my experience of the really powerful emotions comes from popular culture these days, which might explain why maybe one of the more romantic songs that I've heard in a long time comes from a particularly moving movie, George of the Jungle. One day I looked up, and there you were, like a simple question, looking for an answer. Now I am narwhal, listening to some inner call, swimming blindly to throw myself against your shore. What if I don't find you when I have landed? Would you leave me here to die on your shore, stranded? Well, I think I know why the dog howls at the moon. I think I know why the dog howls at the moon. And I sing, de-la, de-la, na-na-ra, de-la, when I'm with you. De-la, de-la, mausa, de-la, when I'm with you. I've been waiting for you all my life, hope for a miracle. I've been waiting day and night, day and night. I've been waiting for you all my life, waiting for redemption. I've been waiting day and night, I've yearned for you. The blind bird sings inside the cage that is my heart. The image of your face comes to me when I'm alone in the dark. If I could find a name for the ache I have for you, if I could find the words that say the words that capture you. I think I know, I think I know, I think I know, I think I know. Well, I think I know why the dog howls at the moon. I think I know why the dog howls at the moon. And I sing, de-la, de-la, na-ra, de-la, when I'm with you. De-la, son, de-la, my son, de-la, I burn for you. I've been waiting for you all my life, hoping for a miracle. I've been waiting day and night, day and night. I've been waiting for you all my life, waiting for redemption. I've been waiting day and night, I burn for you.
I have been given the privilege and the honor of introducing the next act. Now, as many of you know, or those of you who at least saw last year's show, a particular piece was done by two different artists. The recently immigrated to Vancouver, British Columbia, Mike O'Toole, and the soon-to-be immigrating to Ireland, Sherry Levesque, Over the Moon from Rent. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you that piece now.
Last night, I had a dream. I found myself in a desert, known as Cyberland. It was hot. My canteen had sprung a leak, and I was thirsty. Out of the abyss walked a cow, Elsie. I asked Elsie if she had anything to drink. She said, I'm forbidden to produce milk. In Cyberland, we only drink Diet Coke. But there is a way out. Only thing to do is jump over the moon. They've closed everything real down, like barns and troughs and performance spaces, and replaced it all with lies and rules and virtual life. Only thing to do is jump over the moon. Only thing to do is jump over the moon. I gotta get out of here. It's like I'm being tied to the hood of a yellow rental truck, being packed in with fertilizer and fuel oil, pushed over a cliff by a suicidal Mickey Mouse. I thing to do is jump over the moon. Then, a little bulldog entered. His name, we have learned, was Benny. And although he once had principles, he abandoned them to live as a lapdog to a wealthy daughter of the Revolution. 1, 2, 3, that's bull, he said. Ever since the cat took up the fiddle, that cow's been jumpy. The dish and the spoon were evicted from the table and eloped. She's had trouble with the milk and the moon ever since. Maybe it's a female thing. 'Cause who'd want to leave Cyberland anyway? Walls ain't so bad. Take the dish and the spoon, for instance. They're down on their luck. They come knocking on my doghouse door and say, "Not in my backyard, utensils! Go back to China!" The only way out is up, Elsie whispered. A leap of faith. Still thirsty? Parched. Have some milk. So I lowered myself beneath her, and I held my mouth to her swollen udder. I sucked the sweetest milk I have ever tasted. "Climb on board," she said. And then we reared into a gallop as the harvest moon rose above Cyberland. Leaping out of orbit, I awoke singing, "Only thing to do is jump over the moon. Only thing to do is jump over the moon. Over the moon. Over the moon. Moo. Moo. Come on, everyone. Moo with me. Moo. Moo. Thank you.
Dear Amanda, this will be the last letter I write to you. I am quite upset that you changed your phone without a forwarding number. There could still be emergencies, and I'm still in possession of those fancy upholstered hangers of yours. Marissa questioned me about them the other day, and it wasn't fun. They're probably too dear to you to throw out, as we bought them together at the swap meet the day your mother raved about me, saying I was pleasant. Please come by and pick them up. They're seriously damaging my relationship with Marissa. A good time would be any Wednesday after 5, but not after 7. Fridays, anytime except lunch. Monday is good, and the weekend, anytime. Also Tuesday. By the way, there's someone named Francisco trying to pick up girls on the internet. I wonder. Joey.
Static, dead air, can't beat it with a stick. Audio entropy increases everywhere. Home to roost. Crack a 6-track of the ambient sound. You've been grooving and ducking to the ever-popular sound of Air Raid by Victor Chinaman. Moan with the tone, a blast from the past with vocal variations by yours truly, the Hungry Mother. Hard enough for you? Hungry Mother here, your Argonaut. Stick with us. Solid gold and nothing but. Hungry Mother be playing the hits, playing them hits for you. Just for you. Into the smoky blue coming at you. Get out the way. Hungry Mother gonna hammer, gonna glide, gonna slide, gonna bop, gonna drop, gonna dance them aerial waves till he gets to you. Yes, you. Razzle you, dazzle you, blow you away. This one's gonna hammer you blue. Flatten you like a side of beef, sucker. This is WTWI. It's 7:34. The weather is dark. Dormant species are stirring, warm and cool bloods both. Muck is up, and I'm the Hungry Mother. The weather outlook is for continued existential dread under cloudy skies with scattered low-grade distress. Look out for the greenhouse effect. We'll be back, but first, a word about succulents.
We're coming to you live from our syncopated phone booth high above the floating bridge in violation of several natural laws, searching, strolling, and trolling for the sweetest music this side of heaven. Back at you, this is the Hungry Mother just barely holding on at WTWI, the cold water station with the bird's eye view on this beautifully indeterminate morning, bringing you monster after musical monster, chugging them down the pike, humping them up over the DMZ in a never-ending effort to make a dent in that purple texture. And right now I've got what you've all been waiting for. Hungry Mother's Hammer of the Week! And Mother's Hammer for this week, 47 with a silver bullet. Fiberglass felony shoes, something slick by Hoover and the Navajos. And as always, behind every Mother's Hammer of the Week, there's a human being. And a human interest story. You're probably hip to this already, but I'm gonna lay it on you anyway.